Work on that.
All right, what I'd like to show you guys is, what I'd like to tell you is we're going to go ahead and take the baseline. And a couple things I'd like to teach you is why the baseline is so important. So, we've already taken a baseline before, and what you guys should have known on the baseline on fractions is that our post-test or our summative test was exactly the same kind of format and the same kind of questions as your baseline. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a baseline on solving equations. The reason why this is so important is because this is exactly what I'm going to expect you guys at the end of your test. At the end of this chapter, I will expect you guys to be able to answer every single one of these questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this test now and see where you guys are at. All right, I want to see what you know and how much you know of each topic. As you guys know, on the baseline, we have each target. The target is the type of the question that we're going to be asking and what standards we're going to be meeting for in each target. So you guys will be asked, what are the targets, what you're going to be learning to answer the questions on the front and on the back. And what's that important, but what's the reason why we have the targets and the reason why I have the question is, if you're not understanding how to do something, you know you need to focus on a certain target. So our questions aren't jumbled around, they're focused on a certain target. So if you have trouble with maybe doing multi-step equations, that's different than having trouble with doing one-step equations or two-step equations. So we have things separated in targets as far as like word problems, translating, because we want you to be able to focus on what exactly you're having trouble with or what you haven't already learned. Now, the next thing I want you guys to understand about this baseline is the baseline is going to be used throughout this whole chapter. All right, here's your starting point. You guys need to make sure you keep this, and you also keep this in your green folder, because what's going to happen is throughout the semester, throughout this chapter, we're going to constantly be pulling this out. After I grade it, you guys are going to have an opportunity to correct where you've made your mistakes. So, for instance, on the first 5 problems, those all fall within the target of translating expressions and equations. Let's say you go and you mess a couple up, last 2 questions you get wrong. Well, when we go back and learn that section and go over it, you guys will have an opportunity to go ahead and fix those questions and what you got wrong and learn off of your mistakes. So this will be a growing document. By the end of the chapter, we will have practiced every single one of these problems. So I will have taught every single one of these questions on how to complete it, and you guys will have an opportunity to practice doing the work back on this baseline. Then after that, after we've done all the learning and we've done all the practice on the baseline and other material, you guys then will get your summative assessment. And during your summative assessment, you'll be asked the exact same type of questions that is on the baseline. Nothing will be out of ordinary. And one last thing I actually forgot. During each topic that I have, for each target, you will also receive an extra slip, which will give you another basis of where you can gauge your learning. Right now, this is your first learning target. This is seeing where you're at. Then we will take an extra slip after I have taught how to solve one-step, two-step equations. You'll take another extra slip to see where you have grown to, and then our final step to see where you end up is at your summative assessment. So please go ahead and take your baseline seriously. Go and see where you're at. If you have a lot of learning to go, then that's fine. That's what we'll get through in the end of the year. So just go ahead and take the next 15 minutes and see if you guys see how far you can complete on the baseline.